bring us back, start us over, because I opened up the room in the wrong room. Greetings. We're going to get this started. I got to reshare everything. Restart everything. That was crazy. True peace, everybody. Happy holiday, y'all. Happy holiday, peacemakers. Welcome to the World Temple, Unity Temple number 24 of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And we're going to enjoy ourselves today. I need to get Davina back on because she was up. I had opened a room in the wrong room, and I did that totally on accident. Welcome, everybody, so we can get this going. I got the meditation in the background. You just want to come in, chill, relax, meditate. I'm going to be playing a sermon that I did a couple years ago called Biblical Equity. So we're not going to really be interacting too much. So nobody wants to talk. You don't have to worry about that today. It's okay. But if you are interested in proclaiming and pronouncing your nationality, you can click the link up above that's pinned to the top, or you can just click the green mansion so you can get notifications when we go live every time we open up the room. So I gotta share the room again because that threw me off. So before I jump into the and nationality is the order of the day, and understand our civic pride. We do have a civics course, a free civics course that you can join by clicking the link called Civics 101. And we're gonna go over a lot today. It's not just the Moorish Science Temple of America, it's Moorish Science Temple of America, Africa, Asia, and all world islands. So that way our people can understand their nationality and just, getting in tune with the divine creed. Respect and homage to our ancestors. True peace. Thank you, everybody that came through today. And we're going to get started. I'm going from, like I said, meditation. Music is in the background, but I don't know how well those listening can. Like I said, we won't be doing video this section, but we'll try to do it for the next one. And I won't try to hold it off too long. We kind of took a break on the lectures But there's a lot of things that we have to set up for our school system. How we're gonna actually host the classes that we're setting up as far as, tackling the curriculum, the staffing situation in the background, and also, the building and drafting of, the economical part, the finances for everything that we're gonna be doing. A lot of that work is pretty much been attached to us. But, we begin all things first by using the I thought. And for those who are watching from the video, one of our holy scriptures on your screen, which is the book of Revelations, and we're going to open with a prayer from our Holy Tabernacle Ministry, or Holy Temples Ministry. As I mentioned, begin all things, prayers and thinking by using El Shalom, the all heavenly one, the Most High, the sustainer of all the worlds. We do accept the duties of laying on us to clean up the filth made by the wet and non-Semitic fools. Oh, my sustainer, we beseech you to keep your hand over us, to control the strings of the courses of our lives, our sustainer. If we do wrong, please show us thy divine blessings and forgiveness on us. You are the only one that can raise us true followers of the new bearers. Let this be an end for all, as you see as we scroll down. I'll leave the personal note on the screen as I continue to move forward with the lecture. And like I said, the lecture tonight is pretty much about biblical equity. And if you have your Bibles and things like that, like I said, pen, pad, you want to bring that with you or have that close by, or you can take notes on a computer, your iPad, whatever it is. We're gonna go over, like I said, sacredness of equity, and what it means to value and communionship, and the power of group economics, and the reason why we have the structure the way we have when it comes to religious organizations. First verse that I want people to kind of pay attention to is from James 4:13-14. And it says, "Go to now ye that say, today or tomorrow we will go into such a city and continue there a year and buy and sell and get gain. Sorry. Whereas you know not what shall be on tomorrow. For what is your life? Even if a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away." Pretty much what they're saying is, for those that say that they're going to go do this or go do that, what the scripture is saying, of it says, I'm going to read it while we pull this up. Okay. Now listen, you who say I'm gonna share that with everybody.
Two people. What you say, Noble?
As you can see, like I just said,
I couldn't hear you.
that's the audio, bro. That pretty much mapping out a plan.
Yeah, I'm just checking in, Noble. I'm at work. I'm on break, so I was just checking in with you while I'm on break.
Yeah, you messing up the sermon. This is what this scripture leads us off on. And like I said tonight, I want to lead off talking about the sacredness of equity or biblical equity. Whatever you want to call it. But as my diplomat said, pretty much discussing your investment in your own faith or in the faith in God or your faith in God. So, as we see from the verse, it says, now listen, you who say today or tomorrow, so it doesn't matter if you're talking about right now or tomorrow, that you will go to this or that, that, carry on this business to make this money. All these ideals are just vain thoughts. So let's take that in the retrospect with all of these prosperity teachers that we have. A motivational speaker cannot be put in the same role, right? But a lot of people prefer to go to motivational speakers before they go to a spiritual minister for their motivation, so to speak, right? Joel Osteen, a bunch of people like to believe that he's a preacher or a minister or whatever he likes to claim to be. Actually, he doesn't even claim that. He tells everybody that he's just motivation. That's right. So, this scripture starting off is real heavy for those who are key in and really want to know the sacredness behind the equity, the value of equity, or the value that you invest in your faith, the equity that you invest in your faith. And as I touched on that, Spirit said, this is just a reminder of earlier scriptural premises that, have been conveyed to the people, whether they believe these stories or not, or they treat them as allegorical messages. Whatever your angle may be, the principle still remains the same, and the lesson that comes out of it technically still remains the same. So, Spirit says touch on Cain and Abel because as we look, we see that same principle where Cain chose to do this violent act towards his brother, and this was in the name of material gain, and also about being chosen of God based off of the value and equity that you put into the choices that you make for God. Because the issue that happened with Cain and Abel or Gabriy'El is God chose Abel over Cain, or the offering that was made by Abel over Cain, due to the fact that Abel put his heart's equity or sacred equity into the work that he was offering to the God. So Spirit says touch on that. Now I want to lead us into Ecclesiastes 7:12. And as we see, for those who could see on their screen, what we have up, verse 12 says, wisdom is a shelter as money is a shelter. But the advantage of knowledge is this: wisdom preserves those who have it. So this once again takes you to the principle of the value or the equity, which can be sentimental, which a lot of people miss when it comes into property ownership, and these courts and the things that court system is going out here. We live in a secular-based society, so this can be changed through us applying these particular principles and lessons that we're talking about today, and actually taking awareness and heed to the scriptures that follow, along with placing that value of equity into yourself and to the faith and into the Most High. The equity that I'm seeing nowadays, people are giving, is basically the 9 to 5 that has us trapped today. That we're teaching, we're teaching the children from the beginning. Not saying that working is bad, but a wise person would invest more time in themselves, or at least building themselves in their house, their families, rather than squandering their time, helping somebody else build theirs, unless it's beneficial in both parties. that they would still be comprehensible. But the way this society is right now, I can definitely see how it's kind of one way street. And that leads us to verse 13. It says, "Consider what God has done. Who can straighten what He has made crooked? When times are good, be happy. But when times are bad, go to the pit. God has made the one as well as the other, meaning the good times and your bad times. Therefore, no one can discover anything about their future. In this meaningless life of mine, I have said boldly, perishing, perishing their righteousness, and the wicked living long in their wickedness. Do not be over righteous, neither be over wise. Why destroy yourself? Do not be over wicked, and do not be a fool. Why die before your time? It is good to grasp the one and not let go of the other. Whoever fears God will avoid all extremes." So this is essentially talking about keeping the balance. And that's technically also what equity is about, because one of the principles or a maximum of equity is equity follows fairness, or equity is fairness, which are a legal maximum that were put together by biblical scholars and jurists who are studied in canonical law and ecclesiastical law, who came together, these 72 scholars and teachers that we know to be Jews, to come together and put together these doctrines of law that pretty much changed our interpretation, understanding, and role in the whole structure of life and things when it comes to following the laws of God and following the path of God, to where we could achieve those goals and or reach those jewels that may be needed, or tools that we have laying dormant within us, and also for us in the future and our next lifetime. But the core principle of what this just touched on from James 4:13 is the fact that you should not be worried about tomorrow, yesterday, and we know this is one of the main teachings that we'll touch on, that the Messiah Yahshua HaMashiach, or Paharumasor, or Krishna, the Mutajessid, or Avatar, Mutajessid is Arabic for Avatar. So the thing is, these lessons are intertwined, and you'll see as we continue to go forward that this is pretty much that same balance that shows up in the principles of equity that the Messiah and other, notably great scholars have talked about throughout the time. And a lot of people that are involved in teaching us as a people, from whatever religious background it may be, they're not used to actually giving the full quantum of teaching, which us as a people, we taking it in time. So we can agree in our proverb. Proverb meaning pro and verb. So verb means a action or an action word, and pro means a positive. So that would be a positive action that would be getting expressed or conveyed, shown through action and intent. let's turn to Proverbs 13:22, which will take us even further in our message. I'm putting it up on the screen for those who watch it on their screen. As it says, Proverbs 13:22, a good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, and a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. This is a heavy blow, though, for those who are trying to understand the situation that they are in when it comes to us as a Nubian people and the fact that we have been technically in bondage through the system of white supremacy and other political means that have pretty much been against all people. So, as you see, it says a good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. So, automatically, Spirit says, touch on Book of Psalms, chapter 82, which also goes along with this message. Because in the beginning, it says, verse 1 of chapter 82, Book of Psalms, is God walked amongst the congregation of the gods. And later on in the verse, God, or that particular God, was told to judge amongst the congregation and ask why do the other gods or judges judge so unjustly amongst the people of me, which, if you can see, this is still going back to not a race thing, but a monetary value thing. And today's biggest issue is our equity, our restitution as a people. And technically not as just one people. I was asked this the other day by someone on my social media, Facebook, I think. Okay. He pretty much said, isn't asking for restitution for black people or so-called black people, African Americans, Moorish people, whatever you want to call them. He said, isn't it not asking for more war amongst them, or amongst, I'm sorry, not amongst them, but amongst the people in the entire planet? And that struck me as odd, which we all know or should, majority of the people in our congregation right now to have a clue where this type of mentality comes from. And it's not to categorize it per se, because that's the thing to do nowadays, is destroy people through labels. But mentality of those who follow the philosophy of white supremacy and the political premises that come with it. We all know self-preservation is the first law of nature. So, like I said, I'm not going to go and attack them per se, but we know, like I said, where this mentality comes from. The person while he was discussing with me his point of view, he technically did not know, how this was aligned up psychologically with people who have what's called uh, uh, an affinity for being gathered together off the premises of hate, whether it's social hate, racial hate, economic hate, etc., etc. But the fact of the matter is that he missed a lot of things in between the fact of stating that, it would be a problem if African Americans or people of melanated or Nubian descent, Moorish descent, begin to ask for restitution or reparation. And that's only due to a mindset of, wanting to protect everybody on one end, but on another, when you have been able to benefit off the prescription of someone else's property, equity, and value that does not belong to you, that is a vanity. And legally, it's the law of the tyrant. It doesn't even belong to you. Merchant law explains that real well for those who are legal jurists and studiers of the law. Sorry. So that lets me know where this guy's mindset was pretty much. Because the fact of the matter is that these people who follow this premises or philosophy have been benefiting for the past hundreds, and for some, to them it's thousands of years. And it's been based off of legendary landmarks, legendary mechanical property, intellectual property, and the forms of property to go on. But one that is real key that I'm touching on tonight is biblical equity or sacred equity. So that touches on sentimental value of things. And like I said, it was a numerous things that got skipped over. And this is typically what's going on with all things of the material realm or physical realm or inventions and plans and procedures that are going about, whether they are in the idealism form or they're actually in the physical movement and expression of it. Piggybacking off of James 4:13, which just told us we shouldn't be worried about tomorrow, this, that, etc. Right? The guy was pretty much making his own personal projection of what would come about if African Americans or Moorish people or Nubian people or indigenous people, period, were to receive reparations on restitution. And me understanding the mindset was not just the personal projection, but also a part of the natural law and science of understanding that the fact that each particular ethnicity, which is different than a race, races and ethnicity are different, are different organisms within themselves. So this particular projection was not something that just represented this one individual conscious way of thinking. What was actually being projected was the fear that had been expressed by more than one advocate of that particular opinion of thought. And legally, which is how I'm gonna deal with it, we give validation to legal opinion more so than lawful fact or lawful fact, which are your equitable maximum and your canonical maximum, which are ancient laws and ancient principles that are irrefutable and are consistent every way you turn. Now, the law of prescription goes into hand when we're talking about the sovereignty of people. And this sovereignty, it holds strong with the trust, equitable value that we're talking about putting into your faith and your faith that you have into the Most High, the All, El Balloon, whatever it is that you want to call the All in All, or the Divine. And we'll go over that another time, but I want to say that, or say this shortly in between that. A lot of our people have to make a clear distinction between the God that they're giving energy to and the divine presence of the All. Because a lot of people, when we make reference and we just talk about saying God, we miss the fact that there are many gods. And as I just mentioned about Psalm, the book of Psalms, chapter 81, chapter 8, verse 1. Chapter 82, I'm sorry, verse 1. There are well known many gods. So I want to hum in on that I'm talking about specifically the Most High, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the source, the creator, the all in all, El Qayyum, or Patemta, which are the many different variants of saying and expressing the name of the all.
which is mentioned in the book of Corinthians, as all in all. So touching on these key points, the fact of the matter is that we as a people were already pre-warned on both ends of what is taking place. Because we have to remember that as time has expressed the plan or prophecy of the particular people who decide to go against the true principles of God or the divine and kind of revert back into anti-nature laws or anti-nature ways of life. And now you have to go send a prophet down the most high, send an angel, whatever it may be, a messenger, a warner, to get these people back on track. And technically, what you're seeing is a trust book of minutes that happened between the spirit realm and the physical realm as these particular scribes and messengers, angels, etc., stories get wrote about, or they get translated into other histories or interpolated into other histories. The sentimental value behind these things is what is being ignored when it comes to saying that what the guy was speaking about earlier, that it would actually cause strife for African Americans, indigenous people, etc., Aboriginal people, original people, to go and claim restitution of their land and property. But in actuality, that goes with the same principle Yahshua HaMashiach was touching on, was saying, and Satan cast out Satan when he was talking to various scholars, Pharisees, Sadducees, and scribes that follow these anti-laws, anti-nature laws and anti-nature policy or anti-God. They follow the laws of their king, who they call God incarnated on earth, or who would be their God incarnated on earth, which is fine. Let's say we accept that. So, as I said, his mindset is not something that was just individually created. It is something that we can trace back through through the ontological sources of time. So these verified historical records can be pulled up. In this day and age, we have Google, everything. We just don't have the book reference, encyclopedia, and things like that. And you gotta be careful who you give your faith, your philosophy of faith from, because a lot of people don't have nothing invested in their faith. So his message or his questioning automatically let me know that he has no concern for the natural people of earth returning back to their natural state that they were once in before servitude, forced servitude, kidnapped. bondage. And that things should continue to go on as they continue to go on with the rights of the people who are the sovereigns of the land and who are the actual true entitlement holders of the land that should be acting as the actual executors in this particular equitable situation. Now, someone who doesn't have that particular authority to do so, they won't have the know-how neither. So, therefore, I didn't take his answer for face value. I left him with things to think on and ponder on, which they also come up in the next verse that we're going to read, which is 1 Timothy 5:8. And these principles are showing themselves in synchronicity over and over and over again. It was a lot of what I just learned on the past trips I've been taking. I've been traveling and trying to get things that our congregation needs to take us to the next level that we see ourselves as going, and the works that need to be done, the greater works that need to be done for the global humanity. And we don't want to have a big big church building or, Joel Osteen type situation when we're actually working to help provide a actual futuristic foundation for our people. Because as and we know the revealing of today's time and the things that are being revealed, whether people think that they are apocalyptic or not, things are being revealed that have been mentioned not just in the Bible, but the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, the Eurythia, and other, especially the Apocrypha and other newer scriptures. So 1 Timothy 5:8 says, anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. So, if we're going to keep things on an equal footing, and try to prevent war between ethnicities, because that's what the God point was. How can we do so if we're keeping the people who are grafted along by nature with the earth? How long do they expect for them to prosper if they are the descendants of these original peoples who are technically their relatives? But they themselves to prosper in their own household. A lot of these ideological and philosophical I touched on, they're divided within themselves as well. We know a house divided against itself cannot stand. So we either have faith in the source, in the Allahumma, which are the gods, the Elohim, the original God, or as it says in the scriptures, for the people of Israel, continue to follow false gods, foreign gods. This is where your equity lies when it comes to things of prophecy. You see, it said, don't worry about your food, don't worry about your clothes, don't worry about these things because they are already entrusted to you as a beneficiary of life just by living. So therefore, these necessities of life should be no issue for no one globally if we have a planet that is being directed and guided by people who claim to be pure at heart, which is what a lot of what Christianity is supposed to represent. Being Christ-like and following in the divine love incarnate way of expressing and living in a divine love community and environment. Today's world, or Junior in Arabic, we know, as most say, is the playground of idleness, or some would like to say one of the father's angels, named Lucifer, playground. And for me, we touched on that earlier, starting off with James 4:13, because idleness or idle-mindedness or idol worship could also be dealing with, I'm gonna be planning to do this, I'm gonna be planning to do that, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. If these plans, like I said, are not in alignment with the source of things, it's not gonna happen anyway. So if it's not in alignment with the way nature works itself, it kind of throws people who trying to be in that normal consciousness level of operation or operating. It kind of throws them into a whole other loop, which is what we just talked about, the idle-mindedness and all being out of your mind and in the mind of someone else, or someone else is controlling your mind. And a lot of people don't get what that means when you say out of your mind. someone else is controlling your mind. Something else is controlling your mind. Because we talk about this all the time. Your arms and legs, these things called your body parts, they're gonna let you know, your soul know, or your soul's gonna let it know, and it's gonna let your soul know what you have been doing as a spirit here on this planet. And as it says, 1 Timothy 5:8, anyone who does not provide for their relatives, especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. So when Yahshua HaMashiach came to his people first, and his own receiveth him not, are we missing where our equity lies? If his own received him not, did they receive the equity? See? If we know Joshua's mission was incomplete, then the people received the equity. Or did it have to come later on down the line through another messenger or prophet? Joshua himself said he would even possibly have to return, leave, and return. And so this is where down time we start to see holy wars and different things like that based off this philosophical mindset that Yahshua is the redemption for everyone's equity on the planet. Because the concept of this debt system that we have today goes back to the Imperial concept of being able to pay for your sins, to be expunged. And so now what could be done is people could commit crimes long as it's paid for. Fine. So through prescription, legally wise, your wealth, your assets could be taken, and it could be taken through prescription, and your assets could be captured through the fact of someone paid a solicitor who's bonded to go and turn over your property someone who didn't earn the wages or the keep. Now, a lot of people don't understand the difference between servitude and kidnap, bondage, and slavery. Servitude has always been around. Many people, especially the people that we're making reference to in these particular sacred texts, the holy texts, these people are workers of the trade, whether it's the trade in ministry, being a scribe, your medicine, so-called medicine man and medicine woman. The same typical things that we have today, transportation, your doctor, the lawyer, politician. This indemnity only works if we see, as we're reading, if it comes to the Most High. The indemnity is given to you to us. As a beneficiary. And also for certain things when you go out and act as a trustee or a steward of the divine. We see this now in today's actions with our current events with the Federal Reserve for the past month or for the past month. They have been dumping money behind the scenes with the banks because the banks have been running out of money at night and haven't been needing to go to the Federal Reserve window. Past September, the bonds was up for the U.S., meaning when each country or nation pretty much needs to have funds to operate as a government, they go to their primary lenders who will loan them money, funds, and we all know by now that most of these people are international bankers, and some of the people that we were just mentioning when it comes to this anti-nature philosophy, etc., etc. Now, not all globalists have a anti-nature philosophy. But we know this is typically where the United States is getting its funds from, and from a particular network of people. And now the situation has been where America and our leaders that we put in charge, so-called leaders, they have pretty much ran the financial system through a muck. The Federal Reserve and the history of its continuation of, playing the guessing game with the people in our economy. A lot of people do not understand that that this is not a conspiracy theory when we say in 1930 our financial economy changed from a fixed standard to a floating standard, and we changed from the federal gold standard. Though even though that was not as different as the gold standard was, it's this new floating currency system. The gold standard still had crashes and things like that, and was still lacking the mathematical scale to secure the ledger that we could pretty much do today with Bitcoin and other copies of what Bitcoin is able to do by actually mastering the double ledgering system with accounting. The free floating system is pretty much the same thing that we're talking about now, as far as the itemizedness of, not being in alignment with the Most High, not being in alignment with nature, the divine, and the people as a whole. Bankers pretty much been in a panic, and we all know that the bond rate, like I just mentioned, is dropped with the U.S. Treasury. So U.S. pretty much has to figure out where they're going to get their funds from. And ADOS is trying to get the restitution from a people who do not have any currency that is actually of real value of real use. ADOS is the leading African American organization that has been attempting to go for restitution or reparations. We describe it as what it actually is, which is restitution, what it should be. They have been attempting to gather restitution from a collapsing house. There are organizations that have been around that we did not go back and give a positive hand to. We have more counterintelligence than ever when it comes to indigenous organizations, melanated organizations, and organizations that are actually standing there in line to do positive good for humanity. Everyone's pretty much at the same standstill with needing value, needing equity, and needing money. Whether you need money to do material projects, whether you need money to do, your philanthropy work in the neighborhood, a lot of people just need day-to-day living money for wages and the necessity that should not be above the cost of what we need, or should not be above the wages that we work for. Sorry. And it's due to the fact that we was given this opportunity to give our government the opportunity to step in and take care of these fiduciary obligations, because most of these things are paid for automatically. You're paying for things twice. You could be paying for them 3 or 4 different times if they wanted you to, which they do make you do in some instances when you're paying for a car, real estate, etc., etc. The bond promissory note, that was an investment contract that you gave to the person that you bought your car from, to the bank you bought your house from. These are investment contracts where they're using the principle that you created to cash out and monetize out, monetize on the back end, and you see nothing from it. This is why we have a overly wicked planet, economy, economical environment. This is why those who see the things that they see happening in the way it is. A lot of people are in denial, and this is due to the fact that they are not in alignment. They do not have the spiritual value stored up. The scriptures store up your treasures for heaven. Well, we went through cycles of time, and this is what the revealing has spoken about and mentioned, and a lot of scholars do not like to touch on these last two books of the Old Testament and the New Testament. We went from one cycle of time, now we're in another cycle of time. This cycle of time that we're into has been described as a golden era. And like we just mentioned, Matthew 6:25, tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not your life more than food, and the body more than the clothes? This kingdom, where there will be no worrying, no crying. How can we develop this on top of something that's already in a decomposing position? America's on the decline. It's on its dying state. Pretty much they have the people of America all divided, whether it's religious, sexual, political, social, technological. The children don't interact with the parents don't interact with the children. There's no more community gathering. It's even being in the situation being felt even through indigenous communities that have access to technology. It's more so of the equity that we have been given from this kingdom of lies, to where we have to worry about what we're going to do tomorrow. You have to worry about where you're going to sleep. But if we was all operating divine kingdom and the trust that comes with that. Trust constitution that comes with that. Just like a family trust estate. A kingdom is made up of royal families and estates. Or empires are made up of estates of royal families and tribes. What is your clue for those who are a part of the royalty? Well, if we see that the avatar is specifically noted as someone who's related to the divine source, and he has this spirit, this soul flowing through him. And these were the people that was appointed to be your leaders and your prophets in the times of old. Then what would be the things now if that particular prophet only came to affirm the law to those old particular prophets or ancient prophets? And those ancient prophets affirm the prophets that came from the stars and to and fro. So therefore your royalty will be found in these royal families, people who came and who have been aggrandized through the divine trust, contract, covenant, agreement. We don't have to repeat these lectures over and over and over again. Somebody could listen and get the keys, take these keys and open up many doors. Because what I try to do when I give the lecture is speak slow, gracefully, and hand the master key for whatever it is that we're discussing to that person. And with one key, they can open up many doors. So if I give them this key of life, we speak life in every message, they will be able to take that key and open up many doors versus good information that they're getting versus this right information, right knowledge, right wisdom. It open up many doors. It will also motivate them to seek, ask, and knock on other doors. Well, they won't even have to knock because they got the key. So I want us to pull up Luke 8:21 so I can go ahead and close out and confirm for everyone that the Pharisees, the scholars who were watching Yahshua teach and questioning his teachings, they didn't understand the peculiar way they spoke. Because for those who are inside the kingdom, see these particular mysteries and be demystified for them. But those who are outside the kingdom of God will still continue on learning by the metaphorical teaching versus the literal. So therefore, as I say, those who are in the world congregation in the kingdom of heaven, in the kingdom of God, the kingdom of Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, they will receive the literal knowledge and understanding. They don't necessarily have to come to every meeting Friday or Qur'aan Friday or newcomers class on Sunday. You know, they may gravitate over into our classes in our actual school that we have, degrees that we have, for everyone that's seeking, either whether they're a minister or becoming a spiritual guide for the people of whatever faith. And the ministerial work doesn't necessarily have to always be the preaching, whatever it is, or teaching. There's many different ways to work on behalf of the Most High. Not everyone has to be a teacher. There's many ways to make grow what is being developed in this particular day and time. We have the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, action number 27655, to come together as a global congregation and establish global partnerships to end world poverty and meet these goals. We have the actual project and plan to come together and end this spell of idleness that has engulfed the entire planet through the Bretton Woods Agreement and this floating monetary system that we have had that has pretty much destroyed nations of people and nations of families. It is even destroying the concept that goes behind the economic formula for that particular denominated script called dollar. Is destroying our planet. And if we let their food butts go to Mars, what you think they're going to do? They have to deal with another 1,000 years or a million years of destruction and destruction from within out of from our planet to our solar system. This is not me giving astrology. No. This is things that are well proven by astronomers and other well-known astrophysical scholars. A lot of people are not seeing the signs before their faces. This past year, the Pope has called for a one-world religious government. Donald Trump is commanded a space force last year, and going into this year, they're talking about going to Mars and funding the billionaires who like to send rockets out, right? There's been global strikes and protests that people are totally out of the loop with. We have people in tune with everything else due to the division. Versus what is actually going on right now in politics and with our economy and ecology. And things like this would usually get the people's attention. But people have been played with, which is true, by big business and corporatocracy participants in the power of utilizing people's sincerity against them. Real truth and turning them into lies, which is the action and well-known documented actions of jinns, demons, ghouls, whatever you want to call these disembodied ghosts, spirits, etc., etc. Now, we miss all of these things from the fires, the forest fires that are happening in Brazil, in Africa, Sudan, the constant war, the fact that we still have slavery going on in our international lands and waters, and no one's paying attention to the opportunity that is being given to them to step up now and be a voice heard in our national conversation, our international conversation, and now what's presenting itself with us, me as a world leader, as the world chaplain, on a world stage. We have the technology to reach billions of people across the world in less than no time. We have to reflect on the fact that the equity that we put in is the equity that we get out. And so, for me, the work that I've done, I try to show what needs to be done so we can see the solution. Not just me tell it to you, explain it to you. And even teachers, we have many great teachers. A lot of these things do not need to be taught over again. But another way of learning and to know that you know what you really know, you have to put it into application. So for those that are done playing with kitty world, good information, and you need the right information, the right knowledge, the right wisdom, the right connection. We have it here for you at the World Congregation, the World Temple, the Omniversal Church. You can visit us at http://holytemples.org or holytemples.org. You can always contact me on Facebook, social media, however you need to reach me. It's World Temple on Facebook. Pull up with the 8-point stars. There's World Temple in the middle. You send us a message. Send us a message on our Instagram at World Templets. There's many different ways to reach us. Schedule a one-on-one consultation with me or any one of our departments that we have. We're structuring many different things, and we've been transparent about it as we go. We'll continue to build, whether it's financial systems, legal systems, education systems, political systems. The list goes on. Agricultural. The list goes on. So we need people of the world who is breaking out of the idle-minded web and the web of idle-mindedness to step in to the sanctuary and bring the jewels, the tools, and the good, great news that we give, which is the supreme knowledge, which is simply your sacred equity that belongs to each and every person on the planet. you can take this back to them. Those who are having a hard time understanding, who don't have a spiritual home, who are trying to find their spiritual home, are sitting in a home and know and feel they don't belong. Like I said, I do these lectures on a week-to-week basis for the simple fact that there's plenty of work that has to get done, and we can go through numbers and numbers and numbers of scriptures, verses, chapters, books, but is it going to get the actual bloody work of the spirit that needs to be done? The work is bloody. And the reason why I say that, because of a lecture that I heard given by Pastor T.D. Jakes himself, when he was talking about putting in the work of God and your faith, this fighting to sustain yourself, it's a vanity. The fighting that we do on a day-to-day basis that has a positive result as a vanity. We should not be debating or probating with one another, or you'll be probated on or debated with. So if we probate with each other on these particular situations, benefit with one another, each one teach one, we will see rapidly the kingdom of peace, tranquility, transcendental, positive transcendental environment and ecologies. Not necessarily these draconian concepts of transcendental and going beyond, which still leaves you stuck in that particular idle world, not seeing past the threshold and being able to participate in the spiritual realm of nature. Because you could be sitting right next to whoever it is that you're sitting next to, and nothing manifests or nothing comes to fruition because y'all are not in the same realm. The work that gets done with the people who are around me and the work that we do that does come to fruition is because we are operating from the same realm. The more people who wake up to their divine reality and be the divine reality that is, will see global change. We will have a global change. So if you have to reach me, it's an emergency. Just know I'll be busy. I do a lot of work for us and the whole congregation as a whole. We're working on making a lot of plans and different things right now. Traveling, I'll be back on the road again soon. More books will be coming, codexes, legal documentation. We need help with people who know about trust, financing, insurance, accounting, etc. Economics, because right now we're establishing credit union and tribal banks for different people. banking system, we're getting involved with that. And a lot of different things that are going to be facilitating the global change and the global reset that we are now upon. But I'm going to leave y'all with that and see you next.
True peace, true peace, true peace. Happy holiday, peacemakers and Muslims. How y'all doing? Welcome to Unity Temple number 24, the Moorish Science Temple of America. You can join us by clicking the green house at the top and also the link that's pinned to the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That was me giving a sermon. Actually, our 16th sermon for the congregation called Biblical Equity, and I wanted to play that so we can, get a kickback here on Clubhouse of some of the sermons that were done before we got on Clubhouse, and just so y'all can see that we have been consistent with the same divine message and divine works, and it has grown over the past 3 or 4 years since we actually done that particular sermon. And so since we already did the divine supplication on there, I'm gonna go ahead and read the divine constitution and bylaws, and we're gonna go into the rest of today's holy day message. And anybody got any contributions they want to make before I go into the divine constitution? Any review or feedback? Anything like that? The floor is open for a second, and after that, I'm gonna read this divine constitution and bylaws. True peace, true peace. Do this. All right. The divine constitution of the Moorish Science Temple. We're about to read that now. The divine constitution and bylaws. Okay, I don't know what that means. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make laws and is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, true peace, freedom, and justice. And it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. All meetings, Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, true peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, true peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of the said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why the great God of the universe ordained Noble Drew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Ali, through the guidance of his father God Allah. Islam, true peace. All right, gonna have them 5 fingers up, 2 fingers up. Gonna say the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, true peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Noble Ali. Amen. Islam. All right, we're gonna read from the Holy Qur'an, circle 7 first, and then we're gonna move over into El's Holy Qur'an. We're gonna continue on from where we left off last week, and those powerful revelations that we had last week. All right. All right, chapter 25 of the Moorish Science Temple of America, circle 7, Holy Quran. Y'all want to read along with me? We're going to read chapter 25, 47, and 48, and then we're going to move into El's Holy Quran. Ye are children of one father, provided for by his care in the breast of one mother, had given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. So Islam, that was the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation. So basically the message from the prophet right there saying, love each other, Moors. All right. Chapter 47, called Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of Amexem, the first true and divine name of Africa. The dividing of the land between the father and the son. The dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. In later years of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa. They were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire. with their Canaanite, Hittite, Amorite brethren who sovereign from the land of Canaan, seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa across Great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico, and the Atlantis Islands before the great earthquake, which caused the Great Atlantic Ocean. The river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for trade, and it extends eastward from the river Nile, westward across the Great Atlantic. It was used for trade and transportation. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the Holy Land of Canaan. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today without doubt or contradiction. There is no one who is able to change man from the descendant nature of his forefathers unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator Allah himself. These holy and divine laws are from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that they will learn to open their meeting and guide it according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and to create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. I, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, was sent by the great God Allah to warn all Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways before that great and awful day is sure to come. The time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess his own. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery, due to the fact that they honor not the creed and principles of their forefathers. This is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honor not the principles of their mother and father and strayed after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing. That was chapter 47. Now we're going to chapter 48, called The End of Time and the Fulfilling of the Prophecy. And before we go to 48, chapter 47 is found mentioned in the introduction, or the description for the World Interfaith Court and the authority that we have as a temple. So I want you guys to understand that in regard of what we have, in place for us, and what the prophet is mentioning right here when he states that um, these holy and divine laws are from the prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that they will learn to open their meeting and guide it according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and to create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. So a lot of people miss this, when it comes to doing the work. We're supposed to be developing customs and laws and things of that nature. So a lot of people don't actually stick around in the temple long enough because we call it spiritual ADHD, and that's just pretty much that. We all make an excuse for why we can't pay attention to things for a long time, and that's just pretty much that. It shows in reflection towards your seriousness and your effort, your consistency, and where you put your focus. So we're gonna move on to chapter 48. All right. The last prophet in these days is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared divinely in time by Allah to redeem men from their sinful ways and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus in those days to warn and stir up the nation and to prepare them to receive the divine creed which was to be taught by Jesus. In these modern days, there came a forerunner of Jesus who was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name is Marcus Garvey, who did teach and warn the nations of the earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet, who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam, and his name is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth by Allah to teach the old time religion and the everlasting gospel to the sons of man, that every nation shall and must worship under their own vine and fig tree, and return to their own and be one with their Father God Allah. The Moorish Science Temple of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization. Any subordinate temple that desires to receive a charter, the Prophet has them to issue to every state throughout the United States, etc., that the world may hear and know the truth, that among the descendants of Africa there is still much wisdom to be learned in these days for the redemption of the sons of man under love, true peace, freedom, and justice. We, as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine fathers, true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was prepared by their forefathers and their earthly salvation. While we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. The covenant of the great God Allah: honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be longer upon the earthland, which the Lord, thy God, Allah, had given thee. Come, all ye Asiatics of America, and hear the truth about your nationality and birthrights, because you are not Negroes. Learn of your forefathers' ancient and divine creed, that you will learn to love instead of hate. We are trying to uplift fallen humanity. Come and link yourself with the family of nations. We honor all true and divine prophets. We honor all the true and divine prophets. Islam, true peace. So I'm gonna pick us up where we left off at in El's Holy Quran. Anybody want to give some feedback or anything like that? Any reviews before we go into El's Holy Quran? Anything else from the Circle 7 Quran that y'all want us to read before we go ahead or go over? True peace, true peace. Anything y'all want us to y'all want to read before we go to the El's Holy Quran out of the Circle 7 Holy Quran? All right, trying to what we left off with. Then we on 20. All right, so I'm gonna start us off from chapter 20. Or did we even get this far? Let me check, make sure we that far, y'all. Okay, I'm trying to figure out exactly where we stopped last week. I think it was chapter 19. That's where I'm gonna start at. So we're just gonna start there. Chapter 19. It was revealed in 616 AD. Alfil, the elephant. They moved this original chapter 19 to 105, chapter 105. So we're gonna get started. Begin our prayers and thinking by using the name of the source, Allah, the Rahman, who is the most merciful. Muhammad asks, and this is the review before going into the verse that the master teacher put in here. And the master teacher states, Muhammad asks, didn't he see how his Rab, Arab, dealt with the companions of the Fil, or the Fil, the source, manifested their Kaid to destroy the Kaaba. He sent airborne fly, throwing stones from Injiyl on them. Their flesh was raw, like kernels of quickly consumed corn. All right, so this is chapter 19. Gabriy'El is speaking. Didn't you see how your Ahmad, Rab, who is sustainer, dealt with the companions of the Fil, elephant, Abrahat al-Ashram, viceroy of Yemen? Didn't not we, manifest that their Qad scheming to destroy the Kaaba was a grave error? And consequently, he sent airborne crafts, Tayyir, flocks, on them, throwing hot Hijarat, stones from Injiyl, pellets on them, shooting at them. By throwing stones, bullets from Injiyl, pellets called Naru stones that rise. He made their flesh raw, like Ka'as, I'm sorry, y'all. Ka'asf, kernels of quickly consumed corn, pluck bullet holes, and chewed hay. Surah Allahu al-Azim, chapter 20. Al-Falaq, the breaking forth of day, chapter 20. which got moved to chapter 113. Begin our prayers and thinking by using El Kalum. Begin our prayers and thinking by using the name of the source, Allah the Rahman, who is the most merciful. And this is the review before going into the verse. Muhammad seeks protection from the wrath of the breaking forth of day, from the disagreeableness that overspreads during the darkest part of the shadow hour, and from the satanic reptilian sorcerer's wicked ritual of blowing disagreeable words on them, and from the Negroid, red Edomite, yellow Mongoloid, and pale Caucasian reptilians who envied us. So that was the review. Now we're going to go into the verse. It says, tell them this, Muhammad, I seek protection with the Ra, who is master, sustainer, and controller of the breaking forth of day, from the wickedness of that which he created wickedness, Khalaq, created, and from the wickedness that emerges when the darkest part of the shadow hour period periods overspread, and from the satanic reptilian sorcerer's wicked ritual of knotting threads and blowing wicked words on them, and from the disagreeable of those envious Enocytes like Lubain and his two daughters, Fatin and Ijash, who did these type of things to Ahmad and those who envied us. Surah Allahu El Azim, chapter 21. Chapter 21 was revealed in 616 AD too as well, called Al-Nas, the Enocytes, which they moved to chapter 114. Begin all prayers and thinking by using the name of the source, Allah, the Rahman, who is the most merciful. I seek protection in the Rab of the Nas, the ruler and intellectual source of all Enocytes. This is the review. From the evil Nakash, Al-Kanas, he who whispers doubt into the hearts of the Enocytes. Al-Kanas is from the Enocytes and the seed of the jinn. So we're about to go into the verse. The verse says, I seek protection in the Rab of all the Nas or Enocytes, the ruler of Al-Nas, the Enocytes, the creative and intellectual source, Ilah, of Al-Nas, Enocytes, from the disagreeableness of the whispering reptilian Al-Kanas, Nakash, of the enclosed garden of the light. He who whispers wickedness and doubt into the hearts of the Nas, Enocytes, and hastens to pervert them. He, Al-Kanas, Nakash, is from the Nas, Enocytes, and from the seed of the jinn, disagreeable, malevolent beings, Elohim Anunnaki. Surah Allahu El Azim, chapter 22, revealed in the year 616 AD too as well. Al-Ikhlas, the pure faith, which got moved to 112. Begin our prayers and thinking by using the name of the source, Allah, the Rahman, who is the most merciful. Yahuwah, Allah, is alone. This is the review. Allah is Al-Samad. Neither mother nor father has he, nor has he conceived a mortal son. He has no equals. The verse reads, Muhammad tell them, the Meccans, Yahuwah, Yahweh, is the source, Allah, Ahad, who is alone. The source Allah needs nothing, for he is Al-Samad, has no deficiencies. Neither mother nor father has he, and he was not conceived by a sexual intercourse of any two mortal beings, nor did he conceive an individual mortal, Walad, or Walad, son, and no one is Kufawan, equal to him. Surah Allahu El Azim, chapter 23, Al-Najm, the star, which got moved to chapter 53. Begin our prayers and thinking by using the name of the source, Allah, the Rahman, who is the most merciful. The review says, Nusku swore by the Najm that fell from the skies. He is the companion of Muhammad and all other news bearers.
Michael speaks, and Nusku Gabriy'El does not speak from his Hawa'a. Our Qur'an is nothing but Wahi. Gabriy'El was taught the Qur'an by the Shari. Gabriy'El came to Muhammad in Mount Hur or Mount Hur. Gabriy'El was to cause from him. Gabriy'El inspired Allah's and the verse reads, and the appearing star, the Najm, when it falls, the third Elohim, Raphael, sounded his trumpet, Sofa, and a star fell from the heavenly skies into the planet Earth, Kui. Your Muhammad and all other news bearers' companion, the Elohim Nusku, has not deviated. Michael speaks, and he, Gabriy'El, does not yantik, speak from his own hawa'a, desire. He does not make up any part of the Holy Scriptures. Surely it, Al-Quran, is nothing but inspirations, wahi, way. He, Gabriy'El, was taught the Quran by the mighty Shari or Matatun, the forceful one, the source of strength, the wisdom of the Quran. Then he, Gabriy'El, took a fastawa, physical form, from an Etherian to a mortal man. Gabriy'El appeared to Ahmad and taught the Quran to him, and he, Gabriy'El, came to Muhammad in the 19th shadow hour period of Ramadan on Mount Hur, as the sun was on Al-A'la, the highest part of the Ufuk, horizon. Then he, Nusku Gabriy'El, came in the cave of Hur near. Then he, Nusku, came right down to him and ordered him to read. So he, Gabriy'El, was the Qasim, measure of 2 cubits, the distance about 2 arrows, about an arm's length, or closer between them. Muhammad and Jibreel, so he, Gabriy'El, gave inspiration to his slave, Ahmad, Muhammad, of that which he was inspired. Nusku said to Muhammad in the cave, read, Muhammad. Nusku said to Muhammad in the cave, read. Muhammad said, I'm not a reader. Gabriy'El said again, read. Muhammad repeated to him, I can't read that. Gabriy'El came even closer to Muhammad and said, read, in the name of your sustainer who created. So the master teacher put another review in here before he goes into the next part of the next part of the chapter. The review says, Muhammad could not call that which he saw with his own eyes a fuad, a lie. Will the oppressor of Ahmad argue with him? Muhammad seen Gabriy'El as a man. None save the Elohim could pass by the tree of Al-Sidra. The Lot tree is blocked and in the enclosed garden. Muhammad didn't deviate or transgress. Muhammad saw the oldest signs from his Ra. Did you see Al-La? Did you see the other Manat? And the verse goes on to say, and he, Muhammad, could not call that which he saw with his own eyes in Al-Fuad, in a heart, a lie. Jibreel showed him the Quran and asked him to read from it, but the language was too eloquent for him. However, he did see it. So will you, Inosites, the opposers of Muhammad, argue with him about that which he sees? Now are you going to say he did not see a scripture? And he, Muhammad, indeed have seen him, Gabriy'El, as a physical man, ordering him to read from it, the whole Quran, and sent it down at another time, over a 23-year period. At the Sidrat, Lot tree, or the tree of uncertainty, while Muhammad was on his mirage, spiritual journey, to the 7 heavenly skies, the ultimate, beyond this tree, none save the Elohim Anunnaki, may pass. It, the Sidrat Lot tree of certainty, is within. Garden of Mawa, dwelling place. When it, the Sidrat Lot tree, was screened, it was screened, blocked from sight. His Muhammad's sight did not deviate, nor did he, Muhammad, transgress. He looked at only that which he was supposed to. Indeed, he, Ahmad, saw the biggest verses, signs from his Ra, who is sustainer. What did you see in Allah, the female source, who is the sister of the male source, Allah, the name of a deity worshipped by the ancient Pale Desert Arabs? Both the Kurdish tribe worshipped and Al-Uzza, the mighty one, who was a deity of the tribe Gatfan, and the other third one, Manat, wishing good hopes, a deity worshipped during the time of the newsbearer Muhammad by the tribe of Huzel and Kaza'a. So the master teacher goes into another review stating, do you have zakat and unta? It is unjust, Hikmah. The source didn't send the sources any authoritative power. Should Enocytes be able to do that which they wish? To him is the Ula and the Akara. No malak in the sky can benefit any intercession, except if permission is given by Allah. Ahmad is told to turn away from those who turn from the Elohim's remembrance. Muhammad's Ra knows who is astray and who is of the calm ones. Going into the verse, it says, it is that you all have al-zakah, all forgetful males, offsprings, and he has all unta, second part, females. That would indeed be an unjust kisma, division. They, the asma, names of your sources, deities, are nothing but names that you and your fathers before you have named them. The source Allah did not send them any sultan, authoritative power. They, the associates, only follow that which they think, opinions, and that which they themselves desire in their own selves. And indeed, the Huda, calmness, has come to them from their Ra, all the holy scriptures. Or should insans, human beings, Enocytes, be able to do that which they, tamana, wish? Give things their own meaning? It is falila for him, not us or they, the source, that the Ula, first beginning, and Al-Akara, the end, belong to, before this world and after this world. And how many guardian, Malak, angelic messengers, Elohim, Anunnaki, are in the Samawat skies, living in the skies, not on earth, whose intercession will not benefit anyone in anything, except after Allah has given his Yazan permission to whom he pleases and Yada wants. Surely those who do not have any faith in the end will name the Malakat, Elohim, Anunnaki with female names. They say all the angels are unta, second part, females, and they don't have any knowledge on it. The Anunnaki being all females, that which they follow is nothing except what Alzan, they think, opinions. And surely the opinion will not profit them against the things that are facts beyond any doubt. All the Elohims are not females. So Ahmad, turn away from all who turn from Dikarina, our remembrance, and do not want anything except that the hayat, life of this dunya, physical world. This is the magla, extent of their knowledge, love of the physical world. Surely your Muhammad, Rob, sustainer, he knows who is astray from his path, Milad, rights of Abraham, Nuabu, and he knows who is of the calm ones. So the master teacher goes into another review, So we're going to read that before he continues on. Whatever is in the Samawat and Qui or Ki are for Allah. The source is wide with his Maghfirah. I'm sorry, y'all. Maghfirah. Maghfirah. The source is wide with his Maghfirah. You all were Aljana in the bellies of your mothers. To those who turn away from the millet rights of Abraham, the Inosites gives a little of himself, then stops. Wasn't he informed of the Torah and the Suhuf of Abraham? No one will carry the wizard of another. No one will receive the sa'a'ah. No, I'm sorry, y'all. No one will receive the sa'a'ah of another, and his deeds will be seen. And the verse reads, and for him, Allah is whatever is in the Samawat, skies, and what is in the planet Qui, Tiamat, Al-Ad, also known as Earth. He shall reward those who does evil disagreeableness, wrong, by way of that which they do. And he will reward those who are at their best by the things which are best. Those who avoid kabarir, al-ithm, big, guilty, disagreeable acts, and fawahish, abominations, and do nothing except al-lamam, minor things, surely your Ahmad's Rab is very wasi, vast and wide with his maghfirah, forgiveness. He knows about you all. It is he who produced al-ansha'a, created you all from the dust of the ard, ground, congealed blood. And when you all were, oh, I'm sorry, give me a second, y'all. YouTube interrupted non-meditation. All right, second. All right, and when you, I'm sorry, okay, let me read that over. It is he who created Ansha'a, it is he who produced Ansha'a, created you all from the dust of the ard, ground, congealed blood. And when you all were ajanat, fetuses, in the batun, bellies of your mothers, so don't exalt anfus, yourselves. He knows who trembles at the mention. Look, Muhammad, at those who tawala, turn away from the millet, rights of Abraham, created new religions. And he gives a little of himself and then stops giving. Comes near Islam, then stops. Does he have the knowledge of the unseen things? Ether world. Okay, I'm gonna read that over. Does he have the knowledge of the unseen things? Basically the ethereal world. So that he can see them, Etherians, or he has not, Unabia, been informed by that which is in the pure pages, Suhuf of Moshe, the Torah, Loha, tablets of the Elohim, Moshe, the prophet Arun, and apostle Yehoshua, and Abraham, Suhuf, 10 pure pages, the book of generations, who Wafa fulfilled the promises. He was faithful and true, that no one would carry the wizard, burden, disagreeable acts of any other, and that there is nothing for Al-Insan, the Inosites, but what they, Sa'a, do. No one will receive any else's reward or efforts, and that which he does, his efforts or deeds will be Yura, seen. So the master teacher goes into another review before the next section of the of the chapter. It reads, he will be rewarded the reward, the final destination to your Rab. Allah makes you laugh and cry. He causes death and Yuyi. Allah created you in Al-Zajin Zarjain, I'm sorry, from Nutfa when it is discharged. The Nash'ata is on him. He makes Enocytes rich and poor. Yahuwah, Yahweh, is the Ra of Sirius, or Cyrus, planet Cyrus, y'all. He destroyed the tribe of Ad. And the verse reads, and he will be rewarded to fulfill Jaza'ah, reward. And surely to your Ahmad, sustainer, who is Ra, is your final destination. And surely he is the one who makes you Arhaka, laugh, and makes you Abaka, cry. And surely he is the one who curses Amata, death, and Yuyi, life. And surely he, Kalak, created Al Zarjain, the pairs, Al Zakar, forgetful male, Zakar, Adam, Kaman, and Unta. Second part, female, Nekeba, Hawa, from Nufta, semen or sperm, life germ, when it is Tumna, discharge, and surely on him is Al Ukra, the other, Al Nash'ata, reproduction, and surely he, Akna, enriches and makes one, Akna, poor. And surely he is the Rob, sustainer of Al Shira, Sirius, Osiris A, is called Osiris A, which is called Patololo, tiny grain, which means tiny grain. Patololo, which means tiny grain, which has a satellite. Sirius B, called white dwarf. Sirius, Cyrus or Sirius, also called the dog star, with an active planet called Nirvana, home of the original Hindu and the Canis Major star constellation, the home of the Dogon star and Namos. And surely he, Alak, destroyed Ad, tribe of Ad of ancient times. So the master teacher gives another review before going to the next part of the chapter. He didn't spare the tribe of Tamu or Tamu. The kindred of Nod or Chinook were wicked. He overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. A screen of fire covered it. Muhammad, which Ala'i of your Rab do you deny? Nusku is the same Gabriy'El of ancient times. The earth is nearer to the end. Will you laugh at the hadith or cry? And Thamud, the tribe of Thamud, he did not spare, in the kindred of Nud, in the land Quilu or Kilu of Chinook before Noah. Surely they, the Nodites and the beings of Quilu, the land of Chinook, were unjust and full of wickedness. And the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, he al-Mutafika overthrew and made them collapse. So a screen of fire, Gasha, covered it. So which of your Muhammad's Rab, sustainer, Ala'i, favors do you doubt or deny? This Nazir, warning Gabriy'El, is the same warner of ancient times. Nusku, he warned all the other news bearers also. The end of the earth, Qui, or Ki, is nearer than Azifet, near. No one except Allah, Yahweh, or Yahweh can end the world. Is it this Al-Hadith tale that makes you wonder? And will you, Tahakun, laugh, and not Tabkun, cry? And are you enjoying yourselves, unaware of that which is to come? So, Asjadu, prostrate and slave for the source, Allah. Sudaka Allahu el-Azim. And that was chapter 23. that we just read. So we're going to go to chapter 24, which was revealed in 612 and 613 AD. So this was revealed before the last chapter that we just read. And I think we're going to stop here on my number 24. That's a number I can remember. All right, chapter 24 reads, Abasa, he frowned. Original chapter is 24, and they moved it to chapter 28. Begin our prayers and thinking by using the name of the source, Allah, the Rahman, who is the most merciful. And review reads, Ahmad frowned and turned away from the blind man, Abdullah ibn Maktoum. Muhammad is questioned what will make him perceive if he didn't come to him for guidance to make them calm, or if he, Abdullah, remembers the facts. Muhammad gave his attention to Walid ibn al-Mughira. Mughira. It is not Muhammad's responsibility if he, Walid ibn al-Mughira, doesn't purify himself. Abdullah ibn Maktoum is striving earnestly and dreads the source. Muhammad was indifferent to him. And the verse reads, he, Ahmad, Abasa, frowned and turned away. When the blind man, Abdullah ibn Maktoum, came to him and disturbed him, while he, Muhammad, was conversing with the chiefs of the tribe of Quraysh. And what will make you, Ahmad, perceive that perhaps he, Abdullah ibn Maktoum, came to you for guidance to make him calm, to purify himself, or that Yatak he, Abdullah ibn Maktoum, remembers the facts, and al-Dhikra, the remembrance, may benefit him. As for him, Walid ibn al-Mughira, who seeks to be rich, you, Ahmad, gave him, Walid ibn al-Mughira, your attention. And it is not your responsibility if he, Walid ibn al-Mughira, does not purify himself. But as for him, Abdullah ibn Maktoum, who comes to you, Ahmad, striving earnestly, and he, Abdullah ibn Maktoum, dreads, and you, Muhammad, were indifferent to him. Abdullah ibn Maktoum. And the master teacher gives a review before going to the next verse. It reads, the Quran is to be remembered. It is in the Suhuf. All scriptures are pure. By the hands of great scribes. They were Qiram or Qairam. The Enocytes is ungrateful. Does the Enocytes know of what the source color him? From a nutfa, then the source made his path easy. And it reads, nevertheless, surely the Quran is to be Takira, remembered. Whoever pleases may Takara, remember from it. In Mukarramat, honored, Suhuf, pure pages, the Enuma Elish, Gilgamesh epics, Itana, Adafa, Nergal, and Archkegel, descendants of Ishtar, Atra Hasis, exalted and pure, are all the scriptures, by the hands of the great scribes. Zakar, Adam, Set, Adafa, Shanak, Abraham, or Abram, who were given the Suhuf, who were Karam, generous, and Barara, virtuous. Damned be the Enocytes, how grateful is he, how ungrateful he is, concealing that which he knows to be the facts. Do the Enocyte knows from what Sheik thing he created him? From a life germ, nutfa, semen, he not we, created him. So Kadarahu formed him not them, in measured stages, evolution. Then made his al-Sabil path easy in life. So the next review reads, Allah brings him unto death. If he pleases, he will raise him to life again. The Enocytes didn't do what the source wanted him to do. Look at Kui and how it provided him. The Anunnaki poured down water very heavily, and they caused grain to grow in it, and grapevines and cob and olives and nakal and dense orchards. All right, the verse continues and says, then he brings unto him, then he brings him unto death and assigns him tombs, graves. Then it pleases him, he will raise him to life again. Nevertheless, he, the Enocytes, has not done what he has ordered him. So let Al Insan, the Enocytes, look at his food. Of that which the planet Kui, Tiamat, Earth, and how it was provided. Surely we not I, or me, the Anunnaki Elohim, pour down water, rain very heavily. Then we, Elohim Anunnaki, cleared the planet Tiamat, Al-Ad, so that it may yield. And we, Elohim Anunnaki, caused grain to grow in it, and Inab, grape, vineyards, and cob, pastures, and zaytun, olive, and nakal, palm dates, and dense hada'ik, orchards. And the master teacher gives another review, and it reads, and fruits and abba. It is a temporary provision for you all and your animals. When the Sa'akat is blasted by Raphael, on that day, each will flee from his own brother. All persons on that day will be concerned with themselves. Some faces will be shining, laughing with joy. Some will be covered with dust, the immoral concealers of the facts. And the verse reads, and the rest of the chapter reads, and fa'akiat, fruits, and fahakiat, fruits, and abba, herbage, it is a grace for you all and your cattle, animals. So when al-sa'akat, the deafening blast comes, is blasted by the Elohim Raphael, on that day, each being in command, person, will flee from his own Ak, brother, and his mother, and his Ab, father, and his Sahabat, female companion, his girlfriend, and his Banin, children. For on that day, all beings in command or persons will be concerned with themselves. On that day, some wujuh, faces will be shining, joyous